For this next part of our lesson, we're going to be working on some vocabulary. So I picked out some academic vocabulary that we're going to be seeing in our article. And just so we're familiar with it and comfortable with some of these vocabulary words, we're going to read them. I'll read them first, and then I'll ask you to repeat. So the first word is decomposers. Can you say decomposers? Very good. Decomposers. The next word is compost. Go ahead and say compost. Then we have inorganic. Go ahead and repeat. Then we have organic. Go ahead and repeat. Waste. Waste. And then this word is renewable resources. Go ahead and say it. Renewable resources. Then we have conservation. Decay. Go ahead and repeat. And finally, we have the word soil. So we're going to be doing this activity just so we're familiar with these words, because they are academic words and we might not know all of them. So with your partner, we're going to do an activity called the Four Corners vocabulary, and it's very simple. You're going to make 4 corners on your sheet of paper like this. You're going to put the vocabulary word down here. You're going to use your dictionary to find a definition. And you're going to go ahead and make an illustration right there, and you're going to create a sentence using that word. So I have some examples here. The first word is decomposer. So we're going to write the word decomposer. And then we went to the dictionary and we found that decomposers digest dead matter and they put nutrients back into the soil. So they're going to digest. That means they eat, right? Dead matter, anything that's dead, and those nutrients are put back into the soil. So here's some examples of decomposers. We have worms, mushrooms, insects, bacteria. And then here's a sentence that we can use for decomposers. Decomposers play an important role in the ecosystem. So this is the activity that partners would be doing right now. Then I have the word compost. Here's another word. So here's the illustration of what a compost would look like, and you can see the different layers of soil, of the leaves, the worms, and the organic waste right there. Here's the definition of a compost. A compost is a mixture that consists largely of decayed organic matter and is used for fertilizing. And then here's the sentence. Take your veggie scraps and put them in the compost bin. And then another word that I made, organic waste. So organic waste are materials such as food, garden, and lawn clippings. It can also include paper, cardboard, and timber. Here are some examples of the organic waste. The banana peels, the eggshells, watermelon, anything that you would throw away, the apple cores, the fish bones. And then here's a sentence. We should recycle organic waste to reduce trash in landfills. So this would be the vocabulary lesson that I would do with my students, called 4 Corners vocabulary chart. In this part of the lesson, we are going to be doing something that is called survey. So we're going to survey the text called composting. You are going to be getting with your partner and you're going to be doing 3 things. You're going to read the title. Then you're going to look at any of the print features and text features. And then lastly, you're going to tell me, identify the genre. So if I had my students, maybe they would some of the responses that they would have is the text is titled composting, and then one of the first things that they're going to be seeing right there is an illustration of the compost. And they might say things like it's made out of wood. We can see that it's made out of wood. We can see some of the organic waste. Hopefully by now they're using that academic vocabulary from our vocabulary lesson. They might see, point out, draw arrows on the apple cores and the banana peels. Then they would point out that there is a table here, and the title is Common Problems with Compost Piles. And then we have labels, a problem, a possible cause, and a possible solution. So they would take the time to read that, point out whatever they see. And then on the second page, I would ask them if they know what kind of graphic feature it is, and maybe some point out that we do see arrows. And when we have arrows, then it's a diagram. Hopefully they would respond that they see a diagram and that all these arrows are pointing to this label right here in the middle, and it's called a compost pile is created. So in partners, they would probably see that they have brown things like wood and dried leaves, green things like grass and food scraps, and then we need air and we need water, and that's how a compost is made. And then we have some sequence steps. Organic organisms break down the material, like the decomposers. Maybe they would draw an arrow or here label that this is a decomposers. They break down the material. And then the last step here is that the compost is produced. Nutrient-rich compost is produced. And then the last page, it shows two posters. One of them is labeled compost these items like yard clippings, fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, paper products, tea bags, coffee grounds, and coffee filters, and then not these. We cannot put metal on the compost, dairy, glass, plastic, meat and fish cooked in oil. And then they would point out to me that they are seeing that it is a letter, because we see the opening of the letter and the closing of a letter right there. And then I would ask the students to go ahead and let me know what genre they think the text is, and they would respond that it is informational, because we are learning about a topic here. So I would say something like that was great, boys and girls. Now let's look at the title, and we're gonna form a question out of the title. So you're gonna use this title and make it into a question. What kind of questions could we come up with using this title? Some of the answers could include, how does composting work? Or what are the benefits of composting? And then from here we would read the text, and then I would ask them to follow along with me. We're going to read a paragraph at a time. So from paragraphs 2 through 7, I would ask them to stop, and we would recite the main ideas. So we're going to read and recite the main ideas from paragraphs 2 through 7. And we're going to do a gradual release here. So on paragraphs 2 and 3, the teacher would help recite the main idea. On paragraphs 4 and 5, the partners would recite the main ideas. And on paragraphs 6 and 7, the students would recite the main ideas on their own.